We're live. We're live. How these pearly yellows. Just got done eating some popcorn. Looking good. Looking good. All right. Appreciate y'all being here. Happy Thursday afternoon, everybody. Markets are down again. So markets are S&P 500 is down 42 points off of 39.50 or so. I wish I could make this percent. Oh, S&P 500 is down 1%. Scott from Hill Country. We're at in the Hill Country, Scott. I can't remember if you're in Bernie or not. Timmy Smith. Remember him? Number 36 for the Redskins. Won a Super Bowl. We got Land. Bruce in the house. Right on. I got popcorn kernel in my teeth. Oh, that hurts. Let's see. I'm just trying to. Horseshoe Bay. What the hell is that? That's Hill Country? I've never heard of Horseshoe Bay. Is that by Canyon Lake? Never heard of Horseshoe Bay, man. Yeah, I don't know where that is, man. We got Annette's in here from Corpus area, Port Aransas. End of abundance. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. That does not mean it's a bad thing, actually. I just Lake LBJ. That's Hill Country? All right. That's a different. All right. I'm not. So we lived in Bernie, which is right up 10 in Kendall County. You keep going north, you go into Kerrville, Comfort. Then you go to Fredericksburg, New Braunfels. I can't remember. 40 miles northwest of Austin. Okay, gotcha. Jill's from Indiana. We got Phoenix, Mike Cavalier, right on. I just remember, dude, all I know is that Salt Lick barbecue, which I think it's a little bit southwest of Austin, or maybe due west of Austin. Dude, oh my goodness. Literally the best place in the history of mankind. Literally. All right, so I don't mean to be hyperbolic on this. I think the writing's on the wall. Have you seen what's been happening in Jackson, Mississippi? All right, so Jackson, Mississippi, there's no water supply. Flint, Michigan, you know what I'm saying? I mean, there's Democrats run these cities. They're all going to hell. That's a fact. But I want to share with you guys something here. Pablo, what are you doing? Why do you do that? Pablo. Oh, he's looking at me like I know you look at me. This is freaking nuts, dudes. So we're going to share with you this that it just is inevitable. And again, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just means you better watch your spending. So I subscribe to Michael Yawn's Locals channel, and check this out. Colorado, 22,000 people discover they don't control their thermostats. All right, welcome to the front end of the energy slavery. First, the conditioning phase. At this rate, people will eventually start burning homes of politicians and governments to stay warm. All right, so right here. Temperature locked temporarily due to energy emergency. Due to a rare energy emergency that may affect the local energy grid, your temperature slider has been changed from 8 p.m. to 8 p.m. because you are enrolled in the Community Energy Savings Program. This is in Denver. So I want to read this article because this, I just tell you, man, this is going to be happening more and more, and there's not much you can do about it. So let's just go into this. This is in Denver. This isn't, freaking right here. Hold on a second. Thousands of Excel customers locked out of thermostats during energy emergency. 22,000 people lost control of their temperatures in their homes for hours on Tuesday. During the dog days of summer, it's important to keep your home cool. But when thousands of Excel customers in Colorado tried adjusting their thermostats Tuesday, they learned they had no control over their temperatures. Temperatures climbed in the 90s, which is why Tony Tallarico tried to crank up the air conditioning in his partner's Arvada home. I mean, it was 90 degrees outside. It's right during the peak period. It was hot, he said. How dare he? Then he saw a message on his thermostat, which I just showed you. It said, sorry, can't do anything. Normally, when we see a message like that, we're able to override it. In this case, we weren't. So our thermostat was locked in at 78 to 79. On social media, dozens of Excel customers complained of similar experiences, some reporting home temperatures as high as 88 degrees. Yeah, and there's an emergency message there. Let's see. XL contacted, confirmed to the TV channel Denver 7 that people who had signed up for the Colorado AC Rewards program were locked out of their smart thermostats. It's a voluntary program. Let's remember that this is something customers chose to be part of on incentives, said a vice president. The customers receive a $100 credit for enrolling in the program and $25 annually. Said the customers also agree to give up some control to save energy and money to make the system more reliable, which actually makes sense, man. You knew what you're getting going into there. And then when it hits you in the head, you're like, wait a second, but check this out. This is funny. This is the first time in the program's 6-year span that customers could not override the smart thermostats themselves. The energy emergency was due to unexpected outage in Pueblo, or I think it's Pueblo, how they said out there, Pueblo, combined with hot weather and heavy air conditioning usage. Unexpected outage, heavy hot weather and heavy air conditioning usage. But Talarico said he had no idea he could be locked out of his thermostat. He has solar panels, by the way. He has solar panels. Solar panels. He did not sign up to have this much control taken away. Well, guess what? You did, buddy. To me, an emergency means, there's life, limb, or some other danger out there. Basically, I have solar panels. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. How dare you? What he does not have, obviously, my friends, is what? So who wants to take a guess what he does not have? Anyone anyone want to take a guess what that guy Talarico did not have? He has solar panels, so he's right. I guarantee he wants to plug in to get electric vehicle, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. So he has solar panels. Why should he be affected by energy cutoffs? I don't get it. No, not common sense pulverizer. I mean, well, common sense, ability to think, but 100%. He doesn't have batteries. My man Vinyl coming up. He doesn't have batteries. So he's grid tied. All the solar panels in the world don't mean crap if you're grid tied. I mean, it's just, we're dealing with idiots, my friends. True idiots. And I'm sick of this. Well, he certainly doesn't have a transfer switch because he has no batteries. You have to have batteries to have a transfer switch, Roy. And so, and what happens here is, all these people. It's an amazing thing to me how idiotic people are. They think they can have everything and not sacrifice anything. They think they can have electric vehicles, get huge tax credits, and not harm the environment with carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide either. Oh my goodness. And then at the same time, which we're going to talk about here in just a second, California says, don't charge your electric vehicles. We don't have the juice for it. But I got solar panels to the rescue. No, not if you don't have batteries. It's the most mind-bogglingly idiotic thing to do, man. It's like, if I like solar, I'm a fan of solar on not an industrial scale because it's stupid, but on your rooftop, or even better on your ground base, you get a tracking system in there, all that. I love it. I think it's fantastic. If you don't have batteries, you're just as suspect when the grid goes down as anybody else. You're grid tied, which means you don't have independence, man. You're not off grid. You're just not. And so this guy has solar panels. He's doing his right. And I don't know who this guy is. I just know he's like, oh, I thought a life emergency situation. Well, apparently it is, bud. 88 degrees in some people's houses because they're tied to the smart meter. And you can see this. Did you hear about this freaking the Roomba thing or whatever it's called? The vacuum cleaner that's run on via Bluetooth or whatever. Apparently they can track. The whole thing is insane. They can track you if they want to. There's like some kind of technology in there. It's freaking nuts. And who was it? Oh, we got to read. Okay, anyway, so let's keep going because I had to chuckle at that because I said, man, these people are truly the Kool-Aid drinkers. They say we are the Kool-Aid drinkers. I just chuckle at that. So let's check this out, shall we? Because this is going to happen more and more. All right. Here's Doomberg, Dead of Winter. And I follow this guy on Substack. All right. In the United Kingdom, a grassroots protest movement has broken out in response to the ongoing energy crisis. With a bill from its failed national policies coming due, ordinary citizens are organizing campaigns to ensure that they are not the ones left holding the bag. The mission of the Don't Pay UK is to gather at least 1 million commitments from the Queen's loyal subjects to simply stop paying their energy bills. In reading a recent profile of the movements by Euronews Green, we were struck by the framing of the crisis by some of the movement's organizers. This quote from the piece and the photo we have reproduced caught our attention. So here, look at that. This latest protest in the high cost. Louis Ford, an organizer from Hull, agrees the movement is a lot about solidarity, especially for those forced to choose between heating their home and feeding their family. We're already talking about the idea of setting up warm banks, places, buildings where you can go get warm, which is an absolute preposterous idea, said the 31-year-old IT consultant. We're one of the richest nations. So it's not like there's no money. It's the fact that the money is being kept in one space. Well, whatever that means. But sadly for me, Mr. Ford and the well-intended but toyily naive young woman holding out hope that the unicorn concept of cheaper, cleaner energy, cheaper, cleaner, greener, fair energy is actually a thing. They are both victims of propaganda. As reality will soon demonstrate, if a country can't afford to keep its citizens warm during the winter, then that country is poor, not rich. I'm telling you, man. The era of abundance is over. It's going to happen in Europe quicker than the United States because we kick ass, but it's coming, man. It's coming. And it's going to be freaking ugly for some people, and it's not going to be so ugly for others, but there's absolutely a reduction in consumption is going to come down the pike inherently because the cost of all of our energy bills are going to go up. The proposed solution to this crisis is to double down on the same crazy policies that caused it in the first place, and we should expect the problem to get worse. As longtime readers of Doomberg will know, we've been fascinated by the European energy situation for the better part of a year, long before the true potential for the energy crisis was considered acceptable mainstream thought. In rereading a piece we wrote last October called Putin's Fools Rush In, we correctly predicted who held the real power in the developing conflict. But we badly overestimated the willingness of Western political leaders to recognize reality. So here are two quotes revealing the miscalculation. The prize Putin will soon collect is the inevitable go-ahead by Germany to begin the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. It's going to be inevitable, is what Doomberg said back last year. An act that will decisively and irreversibly conclude a year-long struggle between the U.S. and Russia in Putin's favor. Energy is life. Those projects will get developed. The geopolitical vacuum we are creating will get filled. We might not be serious, but our enemies are ruthlessly so. All right. In hindsight, our expectation that Western leaders would awaken to the laws of physics was terribly mistaken. Instead, they have behaved as though they have leverage over Putin, not the other way around. Despite already skyrocketing energy prices, Nord Stream 2 was canceled. And remember, and look at this. In the past week, the market for European electricity broke, begging the question of exactly who's being sanctioned. Forward-year prices for baseload power skyrocketed over €1,000 per megawatt hour, whereas the same contract before crashing more than the third. All right, so now we're down to 560. The same contract was €45 per megawatt hour less than 2 years ago. The imminent crisis is now undeniably laid bare for all to see. How will Europe navigate the upcoming winter? Will logic take over? No, because Boris Johnson and all these other guys are still under the gaze of freaking that green energy is going to win. And I just posted something on my YouTube channel on the community tab that Boris Johnson should be being tried for crimes against humanity because there is a deal on the table to stop the war in Ukraine. But Boris Johnson went on a surprise visit to see the criminal who runs that country and says, no, we got to keep going. We're going to fight until your last man, says Boris Johnson to Zelensky. It's crazy. All right, but we're not done yet, man. Let's take this out. I just had a – so I was thinking about getting some more propane tanks. I was at Publix yesterday. It was $66 for a Blue Rhino. That's up 50% literally in about 6 months' time. $66 for a Blue Rhino to buy a brand spanking new one. Now I have 4, so I don't need to buy new ones. I can trade them, but I like to be prepared. And propane is one of the best sources of energy that you can have. It's very cheap, it's very light, it's safe, and it does a lot of good. So, this is from Marcel's Drilling News. Primer on propane. and its relationship to crude oil and natural gas. I'm not going to go into this right now, but I was stunned that the price for a Blue Rhino is up 50% in less than a year's time. If you haven't loaded up on propane, you better freaking do it now, man. You better do it now. But don't you know, Josh, the reason they're so expensive is because summertime's the right time for grilling. Yeah, it's going to be the right time for grilling come the wintertime, too, when natural gas is through the roof and your electricity bill's through the roof. You're going to want to be out there in the snow grilling your freaking hot dogs, that's for sure. All right, let's keep going because we're not done. This is the big one right here. I'm just stunned, dude. How many people don't get this? All right, from Zero Hedge. How in the name of God shocked Europeans post astronomical energy bills as terrifying winter approaches? Over the past weeks, shocked Europeans, mostly in the UK and Ireland, have been posting viral photos of shockingly high energy bills amid the ongoing and worsening energy crisis. One such owner, Geraldine Dolan, who owns a Poppy Fields cafe in some place in Ireland, was charged nearly 10,000 euros for over 2 months of energy usage. She runs a cafe. She was charged nearly $10,000. And there's her bill. As the Irish Times reports, the cost of electricity of the Poppy Fields Cafe for 73 days from early June to the end of August came into almost $10,000. How in the name of God is this possible? But she still has her Ukraine flag. That's how it's possible, you freaking idiot. That's how it's possible. You want the unicorns because you're doing this. You're finding it acceptable. You're going to do that. You're going to pay the price. I got no sympathy at all. None whatsoever. This is virtue signaling at its top. And yet you're going to gripe about your price of energy. I got the electricity bill today. How in the name of God is this possible? We're a small coffee shop in some place. There it is right there. UK pensioners are also facing a terrifying winter as elderly Britons are about to get hit with an 80% rise in October. A boost of about $1,000. They're going to get a boost of $1,000 to their state pension payments next year, $1,000 over the course of the year. However, the price cap for energy bills will rise 80% to $35.49 and is predicted to rise to over £6,600 by next year. Higher energy bills often hurt pensioners significantly more than the rest of the population because they spend a greater amount of their income on heat. Now, I can see everyone's thinking, well, this is UK, Ireland. I'm telling you. According to Caroline Abrams, charity director of Age UK, is a truly frightening prospect and one that most could have not prepared for and never expected to face at this point in our lives. My mom owns a small cafe in whatever that place is. Her electricity bill has jumped from $12,000 a year to $64,000 a year. She's going to be forced to close. Arrived at work tonight to be told we might have to shut the shop down because the electricity bill came in 10 times dearer today. I don't know what 10 times dearer. Today the gas came in. It went from £900 to $10,000 in a small family-run business that we're going to have to shut down. Dorset Pub closes after a £58,000 increase in electricity utility costs. Energy prices that companies are charging, and there's no price cap for businesses, have meant it's no longer sustainable for us to continue. This right here, the Fire Brick. And I think the Fire Brick is like the oldest pub in England or something like that. I can't remember. We were paying, let's see, just thought I might update you on the latest best energy deal available for a pub our size. We were paying 15 pence, I guess, a unit in May. This is the best quotes we have now. I don't see the quote he's got there. Right, look, right there. We were paying 15 pence per day. I guess that's pence. I don't know what it is. Pounds, I guess, per day. Now we're paying 40. Closed our tier room we successfully run for 7 years due to the increasing costs in food, petrol, utilities. We've gone from a $1,270 a month to $4,900 a month. This will break Europe. You daft Fs still looking to buy dips to buy. I currently pay $126 a month in gas and electricity combined. I live alone. How the actual hell can this be right? And I'm in a reasonable job, but I can't afford this. No effing way. Energy bills to rise by £3,500 a year. Here we got these guys. Telford Chippy Boss in tears says $5K monthly gas and electric bills force business to close. And look, it's only going to get worse, man. We haven't hit the winter yet. So I want to share with you something else here too. Just let me go on this little diatribe for a second. I'm stunned the level of idiots that we have that run the show. It's not even the idiots. It's hold on a second if I can't, because I had a chuckle that California was telling people don't charge their you. I might have to go. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. All right, let me go back to. Hold on a second. All right. R.I.P. Mikhail Gorbachev, Soviet leader and a climate activist. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? And I'm not going to find the thing, but there was a thing in California. They said, do not charge your electric vehicles because we don't have the juice. I'm not going to find it. I just, anyway, shoot. That's too bad. Royal hypocrite, climate warrior Prince Henry flew in a private jet and then waited for a car. Oh, yeah. All right. Anyway, the point being is, if without, and I've said this 1,000 times a Sunday, you're gonna have to revisit how you spend your money, because Finnegan, come here. This is just nuts, and we can avoid some of this because we have the resources that Europe doesn't. But these are trading partners. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Europe is immune to us and us to them and whatnot. And it's just we don't have the resources. Oh, yeah, that's what it was in CNP. Now I forgot. So Central. I don't know if Jeremy Rhodes is here, but Central Maine Power is owned by. I maybe I do have it here. Hold on a second. I want to see if I have this article because I was laughing in my coffee this morning at this article about Central Maine Power. It's not owned by Mainers. It's owned by Spanish people, and they want to force a pipeline of from Quebec into Massachusetts because Massachusetts doesn't want natural gas, but they want a pipeline, and they want to force Mainers to build the pipeline that Central Maine Power wants to move hydroelectricity from Quebec through Maine into Massachusetts, and that was voted down by a referendum the other day. But now a judge has said, no, we don't think that referendum is right. We're gonna let this go forward. And I just, as if the hold on a second, let me see if I can't find it. I don't think I'll be able to find it. Yeah, I'm not gonna find it. Anyway, all right, so I can't find it. Anyway. It's going to get a collapse of grand proportions, man. You're not going to be able to get the stuff you're accustomed to. The 40-year run that we've had is over. And I don't think it's bad. It's kind of like, they got their Finn. Come here. They got their fifth booster now. Have you heard this fifth booster? The fifth booster has not been tested on any people. It's been tested on 6 mice. That's it. And the FDA approved it. And I'm just sitting there thinking, in some way, come here. My wife and I were talking about this. We're like, in some way, we think this is like a thinning of the herd. It's like almost like Darwinism, man, survival of the fittest, because truly, there are some true believers in this, and they're going to be the first ones to go because they're not going to literally, like the guy I talked about from Colorado. I got solar panels. It doesn't mean squat, dude. You're grid tied. I got my 5th booster. Was that ever tested on anything? No. Mice, that's it. You're okay with it? Yes, because why would they lie? It's a thinning of the herd, man. And I'm just reading right now an article. I don't think I have it up here. Talk about Malthus, the evil of Thomas Malthus, the evil of Paul Ehrlich, the evil of the climate change, the green people, how they've always hated people. They've always hated them. And so they haven't been able to scare us enough about climate change. So now they're just going to go into it and they're going to start transitioning us to say, okay, well, if we couldn't scare you into it, now we're going to force you to live a less abundant life. It's what they've always wanted. They've always wanted this, and it's coming. It's coming. Now, should you do anything differently? Well, if you have solar panels, you doggone better get batteries, dudes. Yeah, it makes no sense to have solar and no batteries, in my opinion. Now, if you don't, look, I talk to people all the time who got solar, and I say, "What? How much? What's your battery back?" I don't have any. But my electricity bill is low. Well, it's low right now. It's not going to be low forever because you're grid tied. I just it's so you just and so, but it's not just your electricity, your energy bill. This affects everything. Everything. It's almost like someone has said that for. I mean, I absolutely deflation's coming. You have deflation because you're going to have less ability to choose products to buy. That's deflationary. Was it deflationary during World War II when you couldn't buy a new car? Yes, it was deflationary in that regard. Was that even part of CPI? No, because the product was taken off CPI because you could not buy that car. Buy rubber tires, you couldn't buy it. Anyway, so this was happening here. So the deflation, I think a lot of people say, "Oh, I mean, goods are cheaper." No, it means that you have less goods to purchase. It's coming. It's coming. And the days of just like one of the things pet peeves of my wife is she'll leave the fans on in various rooms when she leaves, and it doesn't cool anything. She thinks it cools the air. No, it doesn't. It cools the air for the human being. We're the people who capture the cooler air from the fan on its ambient temperature on our skin, but it doesn't actually cool the air your fan on. Just the horsepower on that fan right there is probably nothing. A quarter of a horsepower. It doesn't take up a whole lot of watts. But still, it takes up watts. She'll leave the TV on sometimes just for background noise, and then she'll run out and the TV's still on. Stuff like that drives me crazy. Those days, you can't do that anymore, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't just leave the lights on. I actually left the back lights on 2 nights ago. I was pissed off. Said, "Oh my goodness!" And these aren't LED lights either. They're incandescent. I haven't had a chance to get up there and change them. And I said, "Oh, I just wasted 2 kilowatt hours by leaving the lights on in the back last night. Oh, so drives me crazy." You're gonna have to watch this stuff, dudes. You're gonna have to watch your bottom line. And it's a good thing to know, where is your money going to, man? I mean, do you know? Where is it going? But I can't tell you. I got popcorn kernel. One of the things I just find amazing is how many people discount the actual cost it takes to get back and forth to work. I think I said this yesterday or the other day, or maybe it was just a guy I talked to yesterday, but he said when he stopped working, he's like, "I don't hardly spend anything on gas anymore." I'm talking about gasoline. Because I hardly spend anything now that I'm not working. I said, "I know, dude, it's crazy. Your costs go down because you're not spending as much. You're not out getting lunches, getting dinners, getting breakfast, buying a coffee here or there. You know what I'm saying? You're not. You save a lot of money from not working. It's amazing. And you're just going to have to figure this out. Like, where where can you cut back on your luxuries that you don't really need? Like, again, don't leave the lights on, turn the damn TV off. You know what I'm saying? I mean, very small. These are small potatoes things. Change out to LEDs. You get rid of your stupid incandescent light bulbs. Change out to LEDs. Lots of things you can do, but you're gonna have to take it because you can't. We're not going to be able to go forward anymore with this massive electricity and total energy cost hike is coming, and there's nothing to do about it. Again, California, just you think that's not going to spread over? In fact, did I just read about Virginia too? Virginia also has a law now. I think that might have been from referendum to get rid of any ICEs, internal combustion engine gasoline cars. So it's not just California; it's Virginia. Now the new governor Youngkin is saying, "Oh, we're going to get rid of that." Well, as of right now, it's law that there's going to be a huge push to get rid of internal combustion engines. So now we're going to have more and more people showing their green cred because they get paid, dude. Like these wind clowns, they get paid. They get paid. You think Governor Abbott isn't freaking in the pockets of the freaking wind industry? You think the Kansas governor isn't in the pockets of the wind industry? The Iowa governor isn't in the pockets and the freaking the state legislature, they're not in the pockets of the wind industry. Anyway, so and you think the freaking these guys aren't going to be in the pockets of the electric vehicle? Hell, even down here, or DeSantis. I said this the other day. DeSantis is trying to make 300 more electric buses. And I just reading someplace the other day that there was some place that didn't have enough energy, electricity to run their electric buses in some place, some county. I think it even might have been Florida. I can't remember. All these guys are freaking in the pockets of these people. Yeah, and don't think for 1 minute that just because they're in the pockets of wind, they're not also in the pockets of oil and gas. A lot of these guys are a lot of overlapping there for sure. Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. I cannot believe that we're a quote first world nation and we're going to be going the ways of what it was. You know, what they say about what did how did socialists light their homes before candles? Anyone want to take a guess? How did socialists light their homes before candles? Let's take a guess. How did socialists light their homes before candles? There is a 15-second delay, so nobody. Electricity, right on. Electricity. That's where we're going. That's the joke. We used to have electricity until socialism took over. Now we have candles. Yeah, all right, but your TV takes. Well, look, I've done videos on this. The vampire use of electricity, 100%. I've done that. I've done videos, and people say, "Hey, you're wrong." I plugged in, various things to a kilowatt, and you can see it does. It's simply your cable box, all that. It's not. But with that said, why waste it if you can just go like this, click? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. I completely agree with Kenny G. He's saying, look, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, not that big of a deal, but it's not a big deal. Going like this, click. You don't even have to get up like I used to have in the old day and get up and actually turn it off. You don't even have to do that. Now you have this thing called the remote control. It's like this power button. It's amazing. You just like click it and it like shuts off the TV. It's crazy how that works. Crazy. And on a fan, you don't have to go up there and hit you don't have to go that with the chain. You just go to the wall and you like push down the thing. It's crazy. Again, my wife thinks that the fan being on cools the house. It doesn't, man. It doesn't cool the house. It's just a waste of electricity if you're not in the room. I got a fan on above me. And again, there's not much of a horsepower there. Again, it probably takes 50 watts, maybe 100. I don't know. Probably a tenth of a horsepower motor in there. I don't know, but it's not much. But again, why not just click, click, done. Turn the lights off, done. And just these various things you have to do. Just you're not going to be able to go to as many restaurants and stores and whatnot simply because they're all shutting down. In Europe, you can see it a mile away, and we haven't gotten to Germany yet. I'm not going to do it today because it's I've done that before, but Germany is even worse. It's crazy. Anyway, all right. So Jeff, $400 that month. That's not that bad. Aren't you in? Where are you at? Aren't you in Arizona, Jeff? Yeah, $400 a month. The issue isn't. The issue isn't that that's unreasonable. The issue is beginning. The beginning of the abundance is happening. Is in Colorado, and then the smart meter stuff. Who would have? I mean, I suppose we should have all seen it coming, but I just laughed my ass off at the guy from Colorado. I got solar panels and a smart thermometer. Why should I have to suffer? Because I'm doing my share. I drive a Tesla. I don't know if you ever saw the South Park where they're all driving Toyota Priuses. They're like, oh my god, it's so funny. All right. Anyway, so what? What I'm saying. Point two is what are you going to do for backup power? And that's where solar panels actually come in. As long as you have the batteries. Oh my goodness. Just you got to have the batteries. You got to have the batteries, man. So keep your car filled with gasoline. Get an inverter, as we've talked about 1,000 times in here. An inverter is not invert. You can get an inverter generator too. I got no problem with that. But you have a come here. Come here. Come here, Finny. Come here, baby. You have a generator in your house. It's called a car, your car battery, your engine. But it has to be full of gas. If you have no gasoline, you're not going to run it. But still, even that, your battery should still be pretty topped off if you've driven it. It should say you have a 12, 12 or 13. So there we go. Volts in your battery, and that should run you a little bit. Will it run you all day long in an air conditioning unit? Of course not. But it can freaking keep your refrigerator and keep things cold. So you always top off on your gasoline. In fact, I got to do that after this live stream. Get some propane tanks, so you'll Blue Rhinos. I talked about this last live stream. It's just the same old stuff, man. Get that Mr. Heater Buddy, whatever it's called. Get some kerosene for the wintertime. And just be prepared. I don't get why, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Why? Because I'm being prepared? Well, it doesn't make any sense. And my concern, frankly, where was I reading about today or yesterday? A guy said he knew a pig farmer. Either he had to go out of business or something because it wasn't just a fertilizer. I can't remember, but I do wonder what the capacity for beef and pig is going to and pork is going to be in the next 6 months too. I don't know. As a natural prepper, being from an island on Maine, I say, well, let me go up there to Costco and buy some ground beef at $3.99 a pound and vacuum seal it and put it in my ice box out there. You see what I'm saying? And I'm gonna probably do that again. I'm gonna go up to Kroger to fill my gas in. Now, probably not on Thursday, but every now and again you catch some smoking deals on meats at Kroger too. I mean, smoking deals. You should take advantage of that and just vacuum seal it and put it in your ice box. But you need an inverter. I want to, just in case for some people, because some people are watching, they probably don't know what I'm talking about, and it's tough to ask questions because people say, "I don't want to look like an idiot." You're not an idiot. I didn't know any of this either until inverter. Oops. Hold on a second. Not inverter generator. I have a bunch of those, but I'm talking actually literally just a good old fashioned inverter. So let's show you. Yeah, right here. And I've shared this with you guys before 1,000 times, and many of you guys are a hell of a lot smarter than me on this. I'm just telling you. But right here, so these are inverters. There we go. And so you see, they got the alligator clips. Where's the ones that I think I got the Best Tech? Yeah. Okay. Right here. Yep. All right. So this is this is fine, but you want a bigger one. 500 watts is good. That's probably not going to run your fridge on a compressor when it kicks in the compressor, but it's still good. I can run pretty much almost everything else, but still. So what happens is you got these alligator clips that plug to your battery. All right, your battery. You don't have to have your battery running, your car engine running. Ultimately you're going to want to recharge it, but so you take this, plugs these to your batteries. Literally, you open up the hood. You obviously open up your garage door. Someone got really mad at me the other day when I didn't say explicitly open up your garage door. Anyway, you put the black on black, the red on positive. All right, and then you have this right here. That's just your plug for your AC. You plug your refrigerator. You plug your don't do heat component stuff, but you plug your light bulbs, your computers, anything right in these two 120 volt outlets. And what that does is it takes your car battery, which is called direct current electricity, and turns it into alternating current, which is, hey, oh my goodness. So Pablo, hey, this is 12 volts, this is 120, and that's what that does. And you can run for a good amount of time your electrical stuff on these inverters. Now, again, this is only 500 watts, so you got to be careful. So here's a 2,500 watt right here. That'll run everything you could possibly imagine. Don't be running on your batteries a hair dryer, all right, for heaven's sake. Let's not run a microwave. But I did a test the other day. I ran my Ninja Foodie. It was hardly took on the sous vide function. It hardly took any juice. It was crazy, man. I'm still stunned to this day. 3 to 4 hours of Ninja Foodie sous vide, and that freaking cooked my meat is great. And it only ran, I can't remember. It's like less than a quarter of a kilowatt hour for 4 hours, and it cooked my meat just fine. Anyway, so this is what you want. So you want to get, and this right here, this is a cigarette thing. That's like 100. You don't really want to run a 300 watt into your cigarette. They'll fry the fuse, but you can still use that in the cigarette thing. But there's a lot of different ways to do this. I'd definitely look up inverters if I were you. In fact, what I'm going to share with you here, the best channel you can, in my opinion, this what helped me was. Hold on, let me see if I can't find it. This guy's fantastic. If I can, hold on just a second. Oh, baby cakes. Hold on just a second. There we go. All right, so you really want to go to this guy's site, my man Steve Harris, um, harris1234.com, and see the power and battery videos right here. You click on this, and I can't recommend. Let me just make sure I'm sharing it here. Share this. I can't recommend this enough. If you're a rookie like I was, this is a great place to start because he right there, right there, right there. Yeah, so you got how to original home and mobile battery bank videos, how to run your house off your car. It's just anyway. So harris1234.com, solar charging, more updates, tons of stuff on here, man. Electric briefcase. Anyway, this guy's fantastic. He used to work on for GE on their car. What did he used to do out of? He did some of the chemistry on their cars or something like that. I forgot. Or General Motors. I forgot what he did. Oh boy, I got some trolls here. Let's block users. All right. Yeah, so here's my man Shake and Bake. He just installed a whole house natural gas generator to be prepared. Yeah, I got no qualm with that at all. That's no qualm with that at all, man. I mean, natural gas is better than running off the grid for electricity because the natural gas lines are seems to be more stable. And Steve Harris, Harris1234 talks about that. And I want to say I know him, but we've emailed a number of times, so I'm a big fan of his. Oh, you got to have an air conditioner if you're in Arizona. I don't know how they did it before, man. Crazy. All right. Bo from Tejas bought my other books. All right, right on, Bo. Appreciate it. All right. So that's what was on my mind here today. I'm just watching this, collapse of modern society. It's like I'm not please. I'm not like sitting there thinking buy gold and all that. I'm just saying take some basic mechanisms to friggin' get prepared for the winter time that's coming. And I'm going to keep saying this until I'm blue in the face because there's no negative of doing this, none whatsoever. My man sent me a video, CB up in Michigan the other day, showing how stress is killing people, and the biggest cause of stress is your job. Thus, if if A is greater than C, if A is greater than B and B is greater than C, inherently A is greater than C, right? So if stress is killing people and the number one source of stress is your job, inherently your job is killing people, if that makes sense. So anyway, the point being is he has sent me something about this where they've done studies about stress and heart disease and all this stuff. And these doctors saying one of the best things, they didn't say quit your job. They said reduce your stress and save your life. Now they said, start a low fat, high vegetarian diet. And I said, nope. So the minute I heard that, I said, I discount anything you say from there on. But I did like the idea of stress. Stress is literally is killing people. And reduce the stress by A, being prepared, B, quitting your job is the way you have a longer lifespan. Most likely, we could be wrong. I don't know. But I just sit there and thinking, we're used to cheap stuff. And it's not going to be like that anymore. It's just, I don't know when it's going to happen. It's happening as we speak, though. It really is. And you're just like, stuff that we're just used to isn't going to be available. So, just be prepared. But don't just put solar panels, be grid tied, say, I'm good, I'm done. No, that doesn't make any sense, man. I mean, if you want to reduce your electricity bill, more power to you, but that's not a prep. That's just a cost reduction. And I got no qualm with people doing that, but that's not a prep, as we could see by the guy in Colorado who had solar panels and still was limited on what he could turn his air condition down because of the quote smart unquote thermostat he had. All right. Any questions? So if you've got some questions, we'll take them right now, man. Appreciate you guys being here. All right, so here's my man Shake and Bake, and this is the problem we have. So he's also the guy who just installed a whole house natural gas generator. Right. So at least he's acknowledging in a roundabout way that the solar panels weren't going to give him the electricity component he needs for a grid down scenario. So that's good because he owns the solar, haven't paid more than $15 a month to a utility company. Yes, but you just wait, as we just talked about. When the utility company says we're not plugging anymore, you're going to be using your natural gas whole house generator. You can't just no, Finn. You can't just say, "I'm going to use my solar." It doesn't work like that if you're grid tied. It doesn't. It doesn't work like that unless you have a transfer switch with batteries. And I bet he probably doesn't. If he had batteries, I'm sure he would not have got the whole house generator. All right. So, oh yeah, low carb diet plus lots of low carb. I still like I like potatoes. You know what I'm saying? I like broccoli. I like starch stuff. I like it. So try to get low carb and vegetables. I like vegetables. I mean, it's just I'm never gonna. When I first went the low carb route, I lost a boatload of weight, but I didn't eat any kind of carb. Let me just see what Finney's doing. Hold on a second. I was carb basically. I was eating like 20 carbs, probably less than 20 carbs a day. All right. So I was eating like less than 20 carbs a day. I'm just gonna sit over here. And I lost freaking 40 pounds or something like that. I was skinny, man. And I like vegetables though, and I missed just potatoes. So for me, it's just watching the sugars. I love sugars. Low carb is a miserable. Yeah, I mean, some degree, I agree, but it works though, man. You got to admit it does work. Low carb isn't miserable. It's just it is going to take away some of the stuff you like. That's a fact. I actually did a video on this 3 years ago where I said solar putting rooftop solar panels is a good bet against electricity increases. It is, and again, this is I got no qualm with solar, none. I hope y'all can still hear me. I'm sitting over here, none. The issue is that solar in of itself solar isn't going to run a society. If you want to have solar panels to reduce your electricity costs, reduce more, not this guy, I'm saying anybody, more power to you. I got no qualm with that. But don't turn around and say, oh, solar is going to be the wave of the future. It's so silly when people say that. Canning meat. How long does canned meat last though? You see what I'm saying? That's my wonder. I can't imagine it lasts longer than vacuum sealed in a freezer. And fatty meat and eggs. I eat eggs and bacon every single day. Every single day, I eat eggs and bacon. Oh, in fact, right now there's a BOGO on bacon up at Publix. And I'll be going up there to load up, man. Take from IRA. Yeah, that's a tough one there. Take from IRA to postpone. Taking Social Security to down market. That's why you need some cash to the side so we don't have to make the decision. That's a tough one. Canned meat will last years. There's a channel, man. This guy, I gotta show you guys this guy's channel if I can find it. And he does like videos on that, on eating like old food he finds. It's way cool. I'm not sure I can be able to find it. Hold on a second. Shoot, yeah. I don't think I'll be able to find it. But he does a video like where he's doing hold on a second. Where he eats like food that he found for like 35, 40 years ago and stuff like that. It's freaking what's this like? Yeah, I probably won't be able to find it. I can have it. Oh well. Oh, by the way, just gotta point out apparently Sarah Palin lost yesterday. Everyone's like, oh, the Republicans are going to lose. People don't know what they're talking about. I have no worries at all about the Republicans taking back the House, not whatsoever. So if you're worried about Sarah Palin losing in the special election in Alaska, I wouldn't worry about that at all. In fact, I love the fact that it's going to get the left even more fired up. Not fired up, but more cocky. I love it. So last year's not decade. Interesting. So like you're saying 5 years in that, you could, can some salmon or meat in the last 5 years. Yeah. My granddad came from Germany, bacon and eggs, 65 years with grandma, 100%. My man, the uneducated economist, does a lot of canning. Actually, he talks about canning. He says that's a good skill to learn, to can. And he and his wife do some canning videos. Not much, but he does some canning videos. Did I finish watching? Yes, I did. That was fantastic, Dwayne. Yeah, Dwayne says I finished watching the Illuminati video. Yep, that was fantastic. 100%. We talked about it on this live stream a couple last week, I think. David says for AC heat, install soft starting inverter mini splits. Whatever that, I don't know what that is. It'll make your inverters last longer compared to on-off AC units that surge. All right. Soft starting inverter mini splits. I don't know what that is, man. I have to look that up. All right, so let's take a look. Inverter mini splits. Soft starting. Inverter mini splits. All right, so let's look that up here. I'll have to do some research on that. Don't know what that is. All right, so 3 to 5 years. Yeah, there you go. I like Mountain House. I got a bunch of Mountain House. Absolutely. I got a bunch of Mountain House. I have you sure you're on the right channel, Andy Lewis? Oh, man, that's funny. A moderate Republican Party. That should be all what we need to make sure the Republicans don't go moderate, because I guarantee Andy Lewis would have been mad at Mitt Romney. Remember, Mitt Romney, Joe Biden said about Mitt, this is about Mittens now, the moderate Republican, talking to a group of black people. He's going to put y'all back in chains. He literally said that, Sniffy Joe. I was like, damn, dude. And that was Mittens Romney, who was going to put black people back in chains. That's the moderates that I guarantee Andy Lewis here would be happy to see us all in orange or black and white, just because he doesn't like our political opinions. How dare we not agree with him? I saw something I want to. So another guy talked about mini splits. I don't even know what that is. Is that air conditioned mini splits specifically? All right, I don't know what that is. It looks like it's air conditioned because I looked on Amazon. Mini split air conditioning and heat pump. All right, works with Alexa. Yeah, no, thank you. All right, cool. Mini split heat pump. All right, I have to look that up. Oh, by the way, that stupid chick from Duke. What's all these black people accusing whites of saying bad things? Like, it's another Jesse Smollett thing. I don't get it, man. Like, I'm sitting there thinking, so here's a black lady. She's a very attractive girl. She got a full scholarship to Duke, and she's accusing some guy at not even accusing a specific guy, just accusing BYU of calling her bad names. And everyone's up in arms, like, oh my goodness. I'm like, all right, even if the guy called her bad names, it's a freaking name, dude. It's a word. Yeah, I mean, just give me a break. But everyone's like, Well, if he didn't call her that, that's wrong. I said, even if he did call her that, what the hell? What the hell, man? Are these people that weak? I'm sitting there thinking, even if he did call her a bad name or bad racial slur, are these people that freaking weak that we literally have to have investigated? It's literally the police are investigating it. Whether he called her the N-word. I'm like, this is insanity. So if he called her the N-word, then is it worth it having a police investigate? This is nuts. Of course he didn't. There's no evidence at all. Of course, everyone's like, oh my goodness, she's a victim. I mean, she's a freaking a good-looking lady. She's probably half. And she got a scholarship to Duke. And her only concern is she wants everyone to know that she's a victim. She's a victim. You know, she's been spoiled her whole life. I just don't get why we keep going down these roads over and over and over again with this fakery stuff. There is some victim thing that's just perpetuating that everyone wants to be a victim. It's the weirdest thing. Then I hear about Gavin McInnes. Y'all know who Gavin McInnes is? McInnes? I used to love that guy. And then he did this fake raid on. He said he did this thing, a skit supposedly about the FBI raiding his house. It's all fake. I'm like, what the hell? What is it with people wanting to look like they're being oppressed? It's the weirdest thing, man. I don't get it. So Gavin McInnes saying, oh, the FBI. He said, I never said the FBI is coming. But, oh, yeah, 100%. You know she's listening rap. 100%. It's very anti-women. It's very anti-black by other black people. It's crazy. But, yeah, she'll say, but Jill, there's no glory in sticks and stones will break my bones. You know, there's no glory in that. The glory is, oh, sweet, sweet lady, all these mean white people. Oh my goodness. With your Duke scholarship, you're being oppressed. You got this Duke scholarship, you're gorgeous, and you're being oppressed. Oh my goodness, just because of the color of your skin. You're like, if the color of skin was holding her back, she would not be a Duke on ESPN with full scholarship. It's crazy. Who cares? Well, I just don't care about Biden. Who cares? The issue is I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so what does the media focus on? Jackson, Mississippi, where you have 80% of the population black who have no drinking water because their government doesn't know what the hell they're doing. No, let's not focus on that. Let's focus on some girl's feelings being hurt by some insanity that she just made up. And yet everyone, I just sit there, I'm thinking, wait, who's the oppressed now? And apparently they kicked the white guy out of school. Or at least, I don't know if they're out of arena or out of school. And there's no evidence that he did anything. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. I'm sitting there thinking, Jackie Robinson right now is freaking rolling in his grave. You know what I'm saying? I mean, can you imagine freaking Jesse Owens and Jackie Robinson, the literal hostility they had to go through to have these freaking shrinking violets of idiots that are his legacy. I mean, if you read about Jackie Robinson and Jesse Owens, these guys are freaking American heroes of the first order. You know what I'm saying? And yet that is the legacy of these idiots. It's crazy to me. I'm sitting there thinking, what is this need to have to be, oh my goodness, he called me a name. Ah! Like, okay, you get your 15 minutes of fame, but what else? I mean, are you auditioning for a thing on ESPN to be like the next woke girl? It's weird to me, man. What comes of this? Like, I just, thankfully it's weird to me. I just don't get it. I don't get it, man. Yeah. 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 Duke lacrosse. That's what I thought was funny, Pulverizer. After Duke lacrosse stuff, you think Duke would say, yeah, let's make sure this is legit before we go down this road. Because that Duke lacrosse stuff is what really set me on my path of being the anti-woke. The way they did those young men, and those young men were all spoiled. I get it all. I get it. You know what I'm saying? They're all probably in Wall Street stealing money right now. Allegedly, probably. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? With these hedge fund managers, they're up to no good. But those guys were literally, if we did not have, they were this close to being lynched. It was that bad, all because of fakery. And Mike
Nilfong. That guy should go down in infamy. All those professors who signed the letters against these young men should all be freaking sent packing, but they're never going to be. Never going to be. And I just, Mike Nilfong was a prosecutor. That was when it kind of, that's when it turned to me. I said, what? As someone who's been falsely accused, just by some chick who just made stuff up, I just like, yeah, I need more than just, I need some evidence. I need some evidence. I'm willing to hear the evidence, but my spidey senses initially jump out and say, yeah, I don't buy this. No. And of course, there was nothing. And I think that's kind of what started the whole thing, actually. But it's interesting because you thought that the fakery would stop once this was known to be fake, and yet it didn't. It kept going. It's because there's no ramifications of the fakery. Now, I will say Oberlin College is about ready to send a check for $30 million to Gibson's Bakery because of fake racial hoax, racial slurs, fakery against I think it's Gibson's or Gibson's. I think it's Gibson's Bakery there in Oberlin, Ohio. And they try to take it to the Ohio Supreme Court. Nope, no one's going to take the case. So basically, they're going to stroke a $30 million check to these poor people because of what they did to rally people to basically rabble rouse against a legit company because of a fake racial hoax. You would have thought that would have stopped all this. I don't know how does a kid who's been falsely accused, obviously you can't sue this girl because she's got no money. Can you sue BYU? Can you sue Duke? I mean, who do you sue for who's got the deep pockets? Say, no, I need my reputation back. You know what I'm saying? Because you guys are all scumbags. I don't care. It's all. It matters not what these guys say about Trump's documents. It matters not. It doesn't matter. I don't trust the FBI as far as I could kick them. I just don't. So whatever they find, I don't trust it at all. It doesn't matter. They could literally say at this stage, Trump was found. I said, okay, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. That's all. I just don't believe them. That's all there's to it. Black. Yeah. There's I think it was Clyburn, was it not? They're walking. He said, "Oh, these people are calling me the N-word and spitting on me." And someone said, "I'll give you $1 million or something like that if you can prove it." I forgot who it was. They couldn't. They couldn't prove it because there's no evidence of that whatsoever. Oh yeah, white male. So, but I agree that what I'm saying. But you know who's actually the most hated, more than white guys? Black men who don't go along with it. I'm telling you, man, if you're a black guy who doesn't go along with the narrative, they hate you more than anything. By the way, some good poll numbers for Herschel Walker came out the other day. So everyone's writing him off. I just find it funny, the Republican Party, they're like, oh my goodness, we saw a poll. And I said, why do you still trust polls to begin with? Herschel Walker is losing to Warnock by 4 points. I said it was a general likely voters. It was general, or is registered voters. I said, okay, so Republicans, you don't know how this works. You've never understood how polling works. Registered voters doesn't mean anything. It's always likely voters. And the polls before Labor Day don't mean anything. It's always the polls after Labor Day of likely voters. It's just as mind-boggling. Anyway, so they were wanting to write off Herschel Walker right out the gate because there's a couple polls that showed him down by 4 or 5 to Raphael Warnock. And at the same time, Brian Kemp was up 4-5. I said, does anyone think this makes sense that Brian Kemp's going to win, but people are going to vote for Brian Kemp, but they're not going to vote for Herschel? Or people are going to vote for Brian Kemp, but they're going to vote for Raphael Warnock? It doesn't make any sense, dude. And so Kemp is at the top of the ticket. I fully expect Herschel to win, actually, because Kemp's going to win going away. It's not going to be close. In my opinion, we shall see. And I don't – look, man, I know Jill's on here, and she does not like Kemp, man, but can't have Stacey Abrams, freaking Jabba the Hutt on there. Just can't have her. It's funny seeing her new ads too. By the way, she's gone away from the woke girl with like all black women, and now she's got like a lot of kind of redneckish kind of people in her ads now. I find it funny. Like, isn't that funny? You have to appeal to some whites there, Stacey. You know, you can't just be Black Lives Matter all the time. You got to appeal to some whites. Whites are still the majority of Georgia. And you can't just say, I'm throwing I don't need your votes. Someone said that the other day too, is what's his name? Charlie Crist down in Florida. I don't need your votes if you're MAGA. Like, okay, good, Charlie. Um, yeah, I don't think the polls. I'm not worried about it at all in terms of Herschel. I am worried about Pennsylvania because I do think. Oh, that's another thing I was going to say too about Jackson, Mississippi. I live in Fulton County, Georgia. All right, Fulton County, Georgia is run by, let's just put it this way, not my type of people, if you know what I'm saying. Very liberal leaning people, not liberal leaning, very liberal people in Fulton County, Georgia. Liberalism inherently is a disease of the first order. They can't think. They can't. The old school liberals can't, the Brett Weinsteins and whatnot. The new school liberals can't. They don't have any ability to think. If you live in a liberal county, you need to get out. I'm not going to be able to get out for 4 more years, but it's going to hit the fan. These people do not know how to fix stupid. You can't fix stupid, and it's going to hit the fan in these counties because they don't know how to operate things. They've always been given it everything. They've never had to do anything. They've always been giving it to them. Like, all right, we'll take care of it, and then they want to bail. Remember Flint, Michigan? They ran that place to the ground, and then they blamed the Republican governor. He's like, and same thing with freaking Katrina. I still to this day was pissed off. I don't like Bush anymore. He can kiss my butt. But at the end of the day, I was like, what? You're blaming Bush? It's a Democratic governor, a Democratic mayor, and everyone focused their ire on Bush. I was like, huh? Talk about a soft bigotry of low expectations. Like, how come you guys couldn't manage it? But when they couldn't manage it, they had to blame somebody else. They couldn't say, we screwed up because we know what the hell we were doing. And that's what I'm talking about. The same thing's going to happen, man. Again, California. You can't just plug in to a grid if there's no electricity generation, man. You just can't say, I'm going to plug in my electric vehicle to a friggin' 120-volt outlet, and there's no electricity generated to give you the electricity you demand. It doesn't work like that, friggin' idiots. Not you guys, but it's just like they literally think they can. They literally think they can just plug it in. It'll work. It's just magic electricity tree. Anyway, so I'm sitting there thinking, I got to get the hell out of Fulton County. Because Jackson, Mississippi, Flint, Michigan, there's a similarity among these places that you can easily quickly see. And you're like, and I've been a county like that. You know what I'm saying? It's not good. It's not good because these people are and the sad thing is when it falls apart, they're going to come after you who've saved, who squirreled away money, who look like you're moderately successful in a nice house. They're going to come after you big time. They're going to say, you're the reason why we can't freaking in Jackson flush our toilets. It's crazy, man. Crazy. Yeah. Have I heard about the Chinese drone being shot down by Taiwan? Yeah. 100%. We don't have the capability to. I mean, everyone's like, what was Biden doing the other day? Oh boy, he was trying to get involved in some place. It was not just Taiwan, some other place that said we're not the U.S. of the 1980s, man. We're not. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't even know if our military was even that strong back then. But then Biden said, "Oh, you guys want your guns? You need better get an F-15." I'm like, wait. Okay, Sniffy Joe, because we couldn't take out the Taliban, and now you're saying to American, well, you better get an F-15 if you could take us on. I'm like, these guys are just freaking, are not good people. Not good people. It's crazy. Yeah, so I saw that. I was like, oh boy. So here we go, Taiwan and China. Is Taiwan? It's almost like Jackson, Mississippi, New Orleans, Lansing. They want to blame other people. They're going to say, you need to bail us out for our own ineptitude. And is Taiwan going to say, America, come back, bail us out? We're like, with what? What are we going to bail you out with? A bunch of woke people who are in our military who who just want their pronouns identified? Did you read the thing about the something in the Western Fleet or something like that, in the Navy, or I can't remember, but the Fifth Fleet out west, Hawaii or something like that? They're getting rid of all pronouns. They're getting all rid of, we're not going to say a rifleman. We're going to say, I don't even know what they're going to say. They're getting anything that identifies as they want diversity. They're getting rid of all pronouns. It's freaking insane, man. Dude, you don't know. You don't know how it works in Pennsylvania, man. You don't know how it works. All it takes is a few good men in Philadelphia, and next thing you know, 2,000 mules is upon you. All it takes is a few good men here in Fulton County, Georgia, and my vote counted. It did. It counted for Biden. And it says oil. But Beaumont additive plant for fuel has been impacted by water crisis. Oh, wow! Look at that. That's crazy, man. The oil Beaumont additive plant for fuel or oil has been. That's nuts. Yeah, Jill says the global setup for the global leaks. They already have complete control, though. I completely do. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I know Jill does not like camp. It's funny. All right. You got to pay down your debt, man. I just tell you, debt is the look. You can run light with no debt. I think I said this the other day, but I was just going through some bills with my wife, with my talking about my kids. I was like, damn, dude, once the kids are out of the house, we're gonna run cheap. We're gonna be like light infantrymen with just a little bit on our backs and move, and that's it. Because once the kids are gone, dude, cheap living, no debt. I have debt right now. I got debt. The only thing I'll have to worry about is this guy and that guy. And I know I'll still have bills to pay for my children. I get it, but you gotta have no debt. I cannot stress enough not having debt. And I still, to this day, I still think, oh my, I just sell everything and whatever and just pay off my and do what I can to pay down my debt as much as I can. I just can't do it. But I think about it all the time. Like, just sell everything and use that money to pay off your debt. And oh man, someone just tooted. Damn, was that you, Pablo? But paying off debt is the way to go, man. Yeah, I only have 11K of debt. That's it. And then just watch your spending and see where it goes, and take note of your spending. If you're eating out a lot, maybe stop doing that. Now, I think that time will come where you can't eat out a lot anymore because all these businesses will be shutting down because they can't afford the electricity. But yeah, right there, right on, Denise. But you still have your life. So that's a good thing. All right. Now, yeah. Well, I'm not saying don't eat out. I'm just saying watch it. Don't. So one of the things we don't drink, Charlotte and I. So when we go out, I just drink water, and then she drinks an unsweet tea. That's it. So I tell you, one of the things I think is a huge waste of money is drinking alcohol when you're going out to eat. So avoid that, man. I mean, most restaurants, their alcohol is where they make their money. The reason they serve food is because most places you have to have a proportion of food to alcohol. You have to have a certain amount of food sales relative to your alcohol sales to be regulated as something different than just an alcohol place. And so what happens is you go out to eat, and a lot of times they'll give you a decent enough price on the food. Decent, it's still not cheap, but they'll jack the alcohol up quite a bit. You see what I'm saying? And that's where the profit margins are. When I used to work at my brew pub, dude, I think it cost like 5 cents for a pint that we'd make. The production cost was like a nickel. We'd sell it for $3-4. I mean, it's insane the profit margins are on alcohol. It's not very much on food. So the point being is, if you're going out and you're drinking, that's an expensive proposition. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yep. Yeah, what I'm saying. I always get. I always try to encourage everybody just to drink water. Even my beautiful. This is our first day of our 24th year together, by the way. So if I can't convince her after 23 years, I doubt I'll convince her today. But I don't. You just gotta have to email me, Denise. I don't keep it. You think I'm that organized? Oh, that's why the Bada bag here. What is that in here? I don't know what that is. Yeah, liquor license is crazy expensive. Yeah, 100%, 100%, and they regulate the hell out of you too, man. Nah, I don't think you're boring if you're if you're not drinking and doing drugs, boring is. Have you ever been around drunk people? You're like, dude, it's like mind-bogglingly boring. You're like, oh, so idiotic. Pay off mortgage and rent your property from your government. Yeah, that's exactly what you do, man. Whoa, look at that. Local pub sells 10 wings for $7. One shot of Smirnoff. Oh, man. Ed says, no Desmond. Sweet. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh, my goodness. I'm a medic. I tell you, I bet if we did a study on accidents and crime, 90% would have alcohol involved. 90%. Sell one investment property to pay off other twos. I don't know, man. Just it's a tough one. If they're paying for you, probably not. You know what I'm saying? But that's a tough one, Dougie G. Where would I put a lump sum? Someone asked. I think about my money. I want to take it out and put a lump sum on my debts. I think about it all the time. Yeah, what I'm saying. The government is sure. Yeah, we'll never pay off our federal debt. It's never happening. Whoa. Homeowners insurance up 43%. Damn. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, Pelosi, scumbag. Oh, but I mean, the thing is, they're all scumbags. It really pissed me off when I found out about who was it? Was it Ben Shapiro? Probably, but somebody else with the PPP loans. Kushner, I can't remember. I was like, well, you guys are all part of this, man. Ben Shapiro. But it was him. I don't like that guy, but it's somebody else with the PPP loans. I was like, man, you guys are all part of this stuff. I forgot who it was, but that guy really annoyed me. I'm drawing a blank. But Paul Pelosi, PPP loans, Ben Shapiro, Jared Kushner, these hedge fund guys. Oh, but they're keeping people employed. No, they're not. My property taxes are much less. I moved from Alaska to Georgia. Yeah, but we have an income tax. That's why. My homeowner's insurance went up too. The replacement costs. Yeah, exactly. That's it, Denise. Replacement costs. We're putting on this back deck. I can't even imagine what our homeowner's insurance could be here. My brother was a medic for several years. People would use the ambulance like a taxi service. Yeah, they'd never be charged. Wow, Jill. All right, Jill. Right on. I thought you would have been a Shapiro kind of guy. Good. I'm glad, or lady. I'm glad we're on board there. Jill and I have a lot of agreements. She just is more fond of the Trumpster than I. I'm fond. Look, I think I don't want to get into it, but she's not fond at all of the Republican the Republican establishment. Neither am I. I think she feels more fondly to Trump than I do. But Trump is the he's the tallest of the midgets, if that makes sense. So he's still my guy. And after that DeSantis thing the other day, that actually tipped me off. I know a lot of people like supporting DeSantis. I get it. I'm not anti-DeSantis. Like, you were up in New Jersey trying to raise money with a Democratic hedge fund guy, but you couldn't go to Lee Zeldin's fundraiser because you had an obligation to attend, which you already knew about, by the way. You had an obligation to attend the very next day a funeral for an officer that got killed. I don't get it, because you knew about that funeral you had to go to. You knew about it. Yet you still went to New Jersey to talk to this hedge fund manager, but yet you did not go to support Lee Zeldin because the next day you had to go to Florida in your private plane. It doesn't make it. That was weak sauce there. And I was like, is he raising money? Yes, I'm sure. Some guy said maybe that he was trying to recruit this guy's business to come down to Florida. I didn't see any evidence of that. I didn't do that much research on it. But I was like, that's not good, man. That's a bad look at DeSantis. I didn't like that at all, actually. And people are like, oh, DeSantis, it's like, yeah. And the other people, we just need DeSantis because he's not as controversial. And I'm like, you're letting your political enemies determine who your guy is because you're sick of having because you don't want to defend your guy against your political enemies. They hated Mitt Romney. They hated George W. Bush. They hated McCain. They hated Reagan. They hated Bob Michael, if you remember him, the minority leader of the House of Representatives for many years. They hated Bob Dole. If they have an R next to their name, they're going to hate him, and they're going to be controversial. So the only I just wish Trump would. I like Trump's tweets. Trump's tweets were awesome because he showed he didn't care. That's what Republicans. I don't care. Yeah, I thought it was stupid that Trump went after Joe Scarborough. I was like, why give that guy any street cred? But I'm not president. Trump was. But I mean, it's like all these people are like, oh, he's just so controversial with his tweets and they're so mean. And I was like, no, you're not. You don't think that. You're just saying that because you're sick of having to try to defend this guy. Don't defend him. Say, that's what I do. Well, what do you think about his tweets? I like him. What? I'm telling you, man. Once you start putting it back on them, say, okay. So I'm just curious. How do we get through the Van Allen belt to go to the moon? How did we get through it? And I'm not saying you guys can answer it because there is no answer. We don't know. But how do we get, so all these people say, oh my goodness, you don't think we landed on the moon? No. Why? Van Allen belt. It's lots of stuff, but we'll just use the Van Allen belt. Oh, the Van Allen belt, one guy said, it only covers 90% of the Earth. So 10% of the Earth isn't covered by the Van Allen radiation belt. Okay. No one's ever said that, but okay, if that's what you want to say, that's silly. Another guy says, well, we're only through it for a minimal amount of time. So there wasn't enough radiation. It's less than an X-ray. Okay. That's interesting because we don't have any evidence of that whatsoever. But okay, I get what you're saying. Ironically, the same NASA is now saying we don't have the capability to go through the Van Allen radiation belt today, right now. So supposedly we're able to go through it in such a short amount of time that it is the equivalent of an X-ray radiation, but we don't have the capability to do that right now. Okay, that's interesting because that was like 50 years ago. That's very interesting. And on top of that, John F. Kennedy was very, very worried about the radiation from the Van Allen belt, very worried. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, for about 3 years' time, there's no NASA concerns. In fact, they didn't even mention it in the after-action review. Not even mentioned the Van Allen radiation belt. Wasn't even mentioned. When the astronauts they asked about it, said, yeah, I'm not even sure we went through it. I don't know anything about it. Huh. Very interesting. Huh. And you just got to put it back on these people. So I don't like Trump's mean tweets. They're so mean. I like them. Oh. Because people are waiting for someone to just say, yeah. They want someone to say, I don't care what you say. I like it. Doesn't bother me. And then people say, oh, okay. Watch the guy from Babylon Bee destroy Joe Rogan. If you want to see the best of this, watch Joe. I can't stand Joe Rogan. Watch Joe Rogan get destroyed by the guy, Seth Dillon, I think, on abortion from the Babylon Bee. Seth Dillon destroys Joe Rogan. It is a lesson in it's a class on how to do this. Joe Rogan went from being, oh, you're gonna tell my daughter if she was raped that she has to have the baby to, yeah, no, I get what some literally in like in 2-3 minutes time. Yeah, no, I get it. You're making a lot of good points. Yeah, it's amazing. When you stick to your guns, they fall like freaking dominoes, dude. Because they are used to bullying you into freaking debasing yourself. Literally. This is how these people operate. The left, the big, the freaking anti-Trumpers. We're just going to say he's racist. Okay. I guess I'm racist too because I support him. Well, you can't say it. I just did. Call me. I literally don't care. But, okay. It's like the black people when they use their N-word thing. I don't know why they're so freaking like the stupid idiot from Duke Lacrosse. I don't get it. But they said, we're going to co-opt it. We're going to use our N-word on ourselves. That way, if white people use it, it doesn't affect us. Now they've gone full circle on that if anyone even utters it, people like go nuts, which is insane. But it's like gays taking over gays and queer. It's the same thing. Okay, I'm racist. See you. I guarantee, actually, that black volleyball player from Duke, I guarantee if you called her racist, I guarantee she goes, I got teammates who are white. Some of my best friends are white. The minute, it's funny, man, because look, I've been around for a long time. The minute you say some of my best friends are gay, black, whatever, that means you're caught. That means you lose a battle. So whatever that chick's name is from Duke Lacrosse, oh, you're racist. You're a racist piece of crap. You hate white people. Most of my teammates are white. Some of my best friends are white. My roommate's white. Oh, Pablo, you stink. Anyway, that's so don't cower and fear from these people. Say, okay, I'm racist, whatever. I don't care. Literally don't care. I know what I am. You don't have to. I just don't care. And so they'll be, oh, and then you say, well, oh, so then you can even say something like that. So do you agree with Donald Trump's tweet where he said XYZ about whatever, freaking Klaus Schwab? Yeah. So why are you so upset about his tweets? His tweets, what he says, he's mean things. So don't pay attention to him. But they're mean. Do they really bother you that much? Really? Yes, because they're mean. It's okay. Exactly. How dare you, Alonzo? How dare you be racist? Alonzo said he's racist. How dare you, sir? How dare you be racist? Alonzo says some of my best friends are white. As I said, and I don't see Alonzo here before, so I'm going to say the most hated person in the U.S. is not a white guy. It's a black guy who thinks for himself. That's the most hated person in the United States. It's amazing to me. You know, I watched Kwame Brown YouTube channel because it's amazing. Like Kyrie Irving, it's amazing to me how a black guy who can actually think for himself and doesn't follow Ben Carson is stunning, actually. Stunning to me. The level of vitriol towards these people just because they don't follow suit for what they're told to think. It's crazy. And again, I just go back to Jesse Owens. It's amazing to me. So Jesse Owens said he had a better audience with Hitler than he did with FDR. Isn't that crazy? That's what Jesse Owens said. At least Hitler shook my hand. FDR would not. FDR, the beacon of all left-wing crap in the United States. That's amazing. Jesse Owens, I tell you, man, these guys who went through, unlike the stupid chick from Duke, these guys and ladies who went through hell and came out of it with nothing but dignity. I got nothing but respect for those men and women who went through hell on the United States. Jesse Owens, freaking Jackie Robinson, and so many others, and came out with dignity. You know what I'm saying? I was listening to this guy, Chris Hedges, who I don't like at all. He's big lib, talk about how Booker T, Washington, Frederick Douglass were sellouts, but Webb Du Bois wasn't. I said, man, Webb Du Bois is the biggest sellout there ever was, dude. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe how many people follow or fall for the diatribes of Webb Du Bois, and they hate Booker T, Washington. They hate Frederick Douglass. It's crazy to me. And yet, you know, he's a white guy. He's just, it's the, that's crazy. What Booker video about Jesse Owens? Oh yeah, you have to look at Jesse Owens and Hitler, or Jesse Owens and probably not Jesse Owens with Hitler. Ooh, by the way, man, so there is one on the Olympics. There's a white guy from Germany. Oh, dude, this will make you cry. It's such the white guy from Germany. You got to watch this video. I'm not gonna be able to find it, but he like walked around. Oh, it just makes you so happy that you're like, humanity is so good because we're all God's children. Anyway, this white guy from Germany, I can't remember his name. He walked with Jesse Owens around the track. Jesse Owens smoked him. But he came in second place. He walked around the track with him. And he like stood he got sent off to almost like, with David sending off Uriah so he could basically rape Uriah's wife. You know what I'm saying? I forgot her name. But anyway, it's almost like the same thing. So Hitler was not happy with this white guy from Germany. He sent off him to World War II, and I think he died as a fighter pilot or something like that. His son went to the funeral or the marriage of Jesse Owens' son. I can't remember. But I tell you, man, to be racist is so freaking stupid. And I don't mean to be racist like, oh, whoa. I mean to be racist like look at individual people based on skin color and say, it's so freaking stupid. Don't do that. And if you watch the story of Jesse Owens and the guy, I can't remember the guy's name. the white guy. It's too bad because he should be not as well remembered, but he stood up to Hitler, man. And it's a wonderful story. It'll make you literally have faith. You should always have faith in humanity, for heaven's sake, but it'll make you have faith. You're like, dude, and you're like sitting there thinking, why would I ever hate somebody, an individual, based on how they look? It makes no sense. Or what religion they attest to. It makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense because Jesus died for us all, every single one. He died for Denise. He died for HB. He died for Pulverizer. He died for Lan. He died for Alonzo. He died for Jill. He died for us all. And as such, if Jesus died for us all, who the hell are you to hate on race? And I'm not saying you, but just general population. And it's easy to get sucked into. But just you got to watch this thing with Jesse Owens. And I don't know. It's on YouTube someplace with the German guy. It's great. All right. If Trump gets back in, I think if Trump got back in, it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch. I actually think in some way we dodged the bullet because I think Trump is still a liberal at heart. You know what I'm saying? Rush Limbaugh used to talk about this, how everyone was like, why didn't Trump, because Rush was like, Trump is new to politics. He expected that once he won, that people say, all right, he's our president and get behind him. He didn't recognize how evil liberals were. And so he thought, oh, I won, they're going to get behind me and, we're going to move on because that's what Trump did, you know what I'm saying? And when, Trump supported Hillary, and Bill and Hillary, George H. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Trump's like, all right, I'll go with the winner. He thought that same thing was going to happen to him. And it didn't. And he was like, so he was totally taken aback. He tried to get along to go on to get along. And it didn't work. And so at the end of the day, Trump wants more than anything to be liked. And so he tried hard to be liked. And then finally, I think it came where he says, I'm not being liked. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even being liked from the good majority of the people in the Republican Party or the leadership. They don't like me. And so I think what is, he's liberal more than a classic sense, Jill. I mean, that's why I never understood why the gays hate him. I'm like, dude, Trump was tied at the hip with the gay movement. My goodness. Anyway, the point being is, I think this time, that's what I was going to say. I think if he won again, which, let's just admit what happened in 2020, but let's just say if he won in 2020, I think he might have been still a little bit eager to please. And that could have been to some, almost like there could have been some bad bills passed, you know what I'm saying? And with a Democratic House and a Democratic Senate. And as such, I think Trump would have maybe been more suspect to passing some of his knee-jerk liberalism bills. I don't think the Democrats would have came to him that much. Anyway, I think all that's gone now. I hope. I don't know. I don't know Trump. You know what I'm saying? I never met the guy. But I think I think right now he's recognized the level of animosity that they have for him, that there'll never be a middle ground. So he'll have to go in. And I'm not sure Trump actually wants to do that. That's my concern. It's like, I get Trump wants to be liked. Does he want to go in there and just freaking burn down stuff? I don't know. But he'll go in there if he wins in 2026. I don't think he's going to be trying to make friends. I think he's going to say, let's burn this down because it's some evil stuff here. I hope. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm still somewhat on the fence if Trump is. I believe Putin is in on the World Economic Forum. I think Putin's in on this whole thing. I'm not quite sure I think Trump is. I think about this, a lot every now and again. I say, is Trump in on this whole thing or not? I can't tell. I don't think he is, but I'm not as convinced as I wish I were. I just don't know. It's just the way things have shooken out since Trump was elected has been pretty dastardly. Not because of Trump, but with him in office has been a very good year. It's been very good on liberalism in a lot of ways. And Putin's in on the, don't forget, Putin was a young global leader, for heaven's sake. So Putin is in on the big globalist cabal, 100%. But, I don't think Trump is, but I still got this just modicum of thinking that he might have been. Jill will get mad. But I say mad Jill in a funny way. I'm not saying you're like, Josh. I'm just saying, I'm not quite convinced Trump is a part of the big scheme of things. With that said, I still take Trump in a freaking New York Minute over any of these other clowns. That's for sure. Because Trump's fun, and I still think Trump's a patriot. So where these other guys aren't patriots, they're globalists. I still think at the end of the day, Trump is a patriot first, even if he's part of the globalist cabal in some capacity. See, I just don't think he is. So that's the thing. I think about the USFL stuff. Remember the USFL? Trump wanted to be part of the NFL, desperately wanted to be part of the NFL. And when he couldn't, he went to the USFL and said, all right, I'm gonna try to take you out. So I think Trump, now he won in a suit against the US in the NFL, but he only won $1. And that kind of sucked. But he risked it all. And that kind of pissed me off. But so I loved the USFL back then. But he tried. And he won, but he lost. But he did try. He said, okay, if you're not going to let me join, I'm going to try to take you out. And I think that might be the same thing now. He's like, I tried. I tried to play your game here. The globalists or the Republican Party. And if you're not going to let me in, I'm going to come after you. So Trump, he took a lot of heat for taking on the NFL. So I don't think Trump is one of these guys that has to be like that all the time. You know what I'm saying? He's not like Bill Clinton. I think Trump can say, I want to be liked, but I want to be liked kind of on my terms, which makes me feel somewhat comfortable that Trump is not part of the globalists, if that makes sense. Because the way he went after the NFL when they did not invite him to their big party shows me that he's not a hanger-on. He's like, no, I want to be part of this. And if you're not going to let me part of this, I'm going to be part of it through my own force of nature, which means you're going to have to take enemies. And I think Trump in some way is able to take enemies. Whereas if you're part of the globalist cabal, I don't know if you really, I think he can take enemies in name only, but not in reality. That's why I think Putin's part of the globalist cabal. Because who's being rewarded for what's happening with the Ukrainian war? Well, it's Putin. I mean, freaking Russia's kicking ass, taking names right now. You know what I'm saying? And Putin's in large. Putin's freaking kingmaker, as we see here today. There's no two ways around that. Yeah, I agree. April. Hey, April's right on. I agree. Everyone was against him before he's even elected. I mean, even the Republican Party starting with, and it's fun to see that. I was listening to Styx Hexhammer, give the analysis of the when I was going for my walk this morning about Sarah Palin losing. He's like, well, I'm not even sure Sarah Palin was, she's more of a Tea Party person, but at the end of the day, the Republican Party, 80% of MAGA has won the Republican Party. You know what I'm saying? So the MAGA nation has taken over the Republicans, unlike what the Tea Party did. The Tea Party kind of fizzled out because I think we got rooked when we by people like Marco Rubio and then Mitch McConnell in 2014. I'm not so sure that's going to happen again with MAGA. It might, but so Styx is like, he's like, what the hell, man? I mean, everyone's like, oh, the MAGA movement is over because Sarah Palin. Never mind, the voting system there was all stupid. It's just a stupid thing. The Republican Party isn't very bright. Let's just put it that way. They did not plan for the multi-level voting that Alaska just rolled out. So, no one knew how to do it. It's just stupid. But anyway, the dude who won isn't going to win again. Point being is, at the end of the day, Sarah Palin, while she did not win in a very odd voting scenario, MAGA, if you want to throw Sarah Palin in on there, MAGA has reigned supreme relative to the GOP-E in the primary season. And a lot of these MAGA people are going to win. Maybe not a majority. I would expect a majority, but maybe not. But a good amount of MAGA people are going to win. And I hope a good amount of these MAGA people will stay true, unlike Marco Rubio, unlike Pat Toomey, another guy. I'm actually happy to see Ron Johnson. I'm stunned how I say I'm worried about Ron Johnson. I would love to see him win re-election in Wisconsin. That'd be a big defeat. If he loses, that's going to suck. I'm a big fan. He's literally one of the only senators who actually stood up and said, no, this is nuts, if not the only guy. If he loses, that's bad. And I expect him to lose just because, the big pharma has got all eyes on that guy. They know if Ron Johnson wins, it's going to be hell to pay for some of these people. Anyway, so we'll see. But Marco Rubio sold out. We should have known that the minute he showed up. I'll never forget. It's like, oh, he's not. I mean, he has a stand. He is a fancy boy outfits. This guy, I don't know, and he's listening to hip hop and stuff. I was like, yeah, he's trying too hard to be a cool kid. And I remember this back even in 2010. I was like, oh, he's better than Charlie Crisp. But I was like, no, this guy's trying too hard to be a cool kid. He had these fancy boy shoes on and listen to hip hop, talk about Tupac. I was like, no. I should have known. Pat Toomey, Marco Rubio. Those are 2000. A couple other guys in 2010. Can't remember, but then we had Joe Miller. Remember that in Alaska? Joe Miller, he beat Murkowski, but then Murkowski was able to circle the wagons for Alaska, and there were a good amount of Republican Party, even though Joe Miller won the primary. They voted for Murkowski in the general. If you're a Republican and you vote out, if your guy doesn't win the primary and you vote for the independent who left the party to be independent, you're a faker, man. You're a faker. You can kiss my big fat behind. Because we don't do that. Our side doesn't do that. But maybe we should. Maybe we should start voting for the Democrat if our side doesn't win, like the GOP does. Now I'm hearing because this guy who's running for governor in Pennsylvania, he happened to wear a Confederate uniform. And now people like Michael Chertoff and all these people are like, I can't support a guy who wore a Confederate uniform. It's like, dude, he just put it on a gray. It's not like he's out there. I mean, he's like reenacting. It's just the whole thing's so freaking stupid. The Republican Party, and now they're going to vote for an insane guy to be the new governor because the Republicans happen to wear a Confederate. The whole thing is so blindingly obvious that the Republican Party is just as bad as the Democratic Party. Other than the fact the Republican Party is slowly but surely being taken over by MAGA. But I'm just like, why? It's the same kind of thing with National Review. We're voting against Trump. We'd rather have Ben Shapiro. I'd rather have Hillary Clinton than Trump. National Review. I'd rather have Hillary Clinton than Trump. You can't say that if you're a Republican. You can't say that after all the battles we went through in the 90s against Hillary Care and all that stuff and the vast right-wing conspiracy. You can't sit there and say, oh, the Republican Party it would be better off if Trump loses and Hillary wins. I care about America first, you freaking ass clowns, pardon my French. They're all fakers. They're all fakers. Yeah, I don't know about that. The second choice voting, that's what it is. I'm not so sure. I don't think the Republicans knew. I think what Sticks was saying is he thinks, I agree with this. A lot of Republicans went in and said, Sarah Palin, I'm voting for her, but they didn't vote for the other people. You see what I'm saying? They said Sarah Palin and they didn't vote again. And you're supposed to vote is in order. It's ranking. Who do you want? You want Sarah Palin, Joe Schmo, the Democrat. I think a lot of Republicans just said Sarah Palin and they didn't vote for second and third. So you got to understand how this works. You need to perceive what's going on in the spirit realm. This fake administration, everything they try to pull will be overturned. I don't think so, Susan. I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all. It can be overturned. No, I think it's solidified. That's okay. Yeah, Sarah Palin. I voted for her in 2008. I certainly didn't vote for John McCain. I liked her. At some point, I think you got to leave you got to leave, if that makes sense. I don't know. I just don't like. I think some of these people get too used to the limelight. Now I know I know Sarah Palin isn't sitting there herself saying, I got to run. She has these hangers on, these handlers that say, look, you can win this. She was all right, might as well. And I like Sarah Palin, big fan. I just think that they have these handlers that they're just they're too long. Something like Sarah Palin is like, yeah, I get it, but it's kind of like sometimes you just gotta kind of go, if that makes sense. And like Charlie Crisp and Ford, perfect example. At some point, you just got to go, dude. But I mean, they nominated him for the Democrats, and we'll smoke him. And the Republicans nominated Sarah Palin, but obviously they did not do a good enough job in doing the voting, and they need to do that. And they will next time. They'll get it squared away. There's no way. I mean, look, anything can happen, but I don't see the Republican. I don't see the House of Representatives in Alaska going to the Democrats. Let's put it that way. All right. I'm gonna get ready to get out of here, my friends. Yeah, well, that's the problem. Here's how I used to tell rhinos it would be their their gun control thing for Oz. So if they said, look, I don't want to have any bans on firearms, but common sense gun control, I said, oh, no, you're not. You're a rhino, because there's no such thing as common sense gun control. That was back in the 90s. That was back when it wasn't as we've won that issue. It's insane. And I've all thanks to Wayne LaPierre and the NRA. But we won that issue. But back then, you could find a lot of Republicans say, look, I think we do need to have, one gun a month. I think we need to have handgun licensure laws and all that stuff. And you knew right then that was a rhino. Later, it's kind of abortion. Abortion was one of those ones that's not quite as black and white, but it was an issue right there. You could kind of tell, not quite, because I don't know, because there are some righteous people who would make a case that's okay for an abortion in case of rape and incest and all that stuff. I don't like that, but I get the argument on that. And I even get the argument in the first 3 weeks. I get all that. I don't like it. I think abortion should be completely illegal. And again, if you're interested in the take that I follow, watch Joe Rogan get destroyed by Seth Dillon from the Babylon Bee. It's literally the best takedown on abortion I've ever seen in my life. He destroys Joe Rogan. And Joe Rogan is not that bright because all that freaking dope he smokes. But this was fantastic, and it was literally the best takedown on abortion I've ever seen. But so that wasn't for me as black and white, because I could understand the idea of and there were some righteous Republicans that were very pro-life that said, look, I get it, you know what I'm saying? So that wasn't bad. But gun control is my number one thing. Right now, it'd be Ukraine. Any Republican that supports Ukraine can kiss my ass. That would be Marsha Blackburn. That would be, if she was in Taiwan, shouldn't do that, Marsha Blackburn. I don't know what the hell you're doing. Anyone who says it's okay, and that's Tom Cotton, they can all kiss my butt. Anyone who says it's okay for us to send billions of dollars to Ukraine with all of our own infrastructure problems, all of our own increases and everything else going on because of our lack of infrastructure, our lack of energy, they can all kiss my butt. We are literally funneling billions of dollars to keep the Ukrainian government salaries being paid. We are paying the salaries of the Ukrainian government. That's wrong, dude. It should have nothing to do with us, nothing whatsoever. And the only reason we're doing it is because Joe Biden has a lot to hide. So doesn't Paul Manafort, who is on Trump's team. Lindsey Graham has a lot to hide. If Putin took over Ukraine, there's going to be a lot of friggin' come to Jesus moments of a lot of people who just raped that damn country. And that's what I think is happening there. That's why we're sending so much money to keep Zelensky in office, so we can basically burn the evidence. But I don't think Zelensky's that dumb. I think Zelensky's got the evidence. And he's like, I'm blackmailing you guys if you don't send me money. I truly believe that. Anyway, so that's where like, what do we do? What do we do? Oh, just send him money. Now, Tom Cotton's not part of that. I think Tom Cotton, though, like I was anti-commie his whole life, and he equated Putin with commie. And I think Tom Cotton hasn't got to the place I have, which Putin is not commie. Putin's fascist in a lot of ways. Well, what's America? Basically the same thing. But Putin is actually doing a lot of good stuff, in my opinion, for Russia that we can mimic. I don't think Tom Cotton has actually got that memo yet of all the good things Putin's doing. So I'm absolutely sitting there thinking, Tom Cotton, he's not getting it yet, but I think he's just because he's a little bit behind the times in terms of what's happening. And we'll see. I mean, he might be part, I don't know. But the Ukraine thing is for me right now. It's like, okay, so you're okay with sending billions to Ukraine while everything else in the United States is falling apart. That's a wrong answer. Wrong answer. But it used to be guns. On abortion, we're winning that slowly but surely. I don't litmus test thing. I don't. It really depends on the forceless nature of a pro-life person's argument. If they're kind of like, well, if they're sheepish, they're rhino. Because the one thing rhinos hate is to be looked down as if they're rednecks. I don't want to be a conservative Christian. Oh my goodness, no. Oh, they're gonna think I live in a trailer and I don't have teeth. Like think of Marco Rubio. The one thing Marco Rubio does not want to be thought of as white trash. I know he's Cuban, but these guys are fearful of being considered white trash, man. Fearful. That's literally the worst thing that ever happened. Oh, you're a redneck, you're white trash. They don't want that, man. I'm telling you right now. So abortion is, you can see the squeamishness that they have on their stance on abortion in terms of it's true or not. They all say tax cuts. That doesn't, I could care less about that. That doesn't mean anything to me. Oh, green stuff. That's the other one. Green stuff. If they're in favor of Win Energy, hey, thanks, Doug. Hey, Dougie Fresh Mead gave me $10. Appreciate it. If they're in favor of green energy, they can all kiss my ass because green energy is not legitimate running an economy as we're used to. It's just not. It's silly to make the argument that green energy is needed in the United States. It's silly. It's stupid. It's actually bordering on evil. Unfortunately, a lot of Republicans are ignorant. They just don't know, but they're willing to sell their souls for rock and roll, man. That's willing to. So green energy right now is probably my number one thing. Hey, Matt Gaetz can kiss my big fat behind. How's your take on solar? Oh, yeah, no, dude, we need to get solar. Okay. Out. How's your take on wind? I don't know. Freaking Greg Abbott. Oh, yeah, wind. Out. I'll kiss my butt. 2 years ago, I would have said differently. I would have said, hey, what's your take on lockdowns? Well, what's your take on masks? Oh, done. Out. What's your take on vaxes? Well, we really need little girls at MPV vax, Rick Perry. Done. Remember, right? HPV, whatever, the HPV vax. Rick Perry wanted to mandate young girls in Texas have the HPV vax. Mandate against the will of the parents. And I back then would say, yeah, what's the big deal? No big deal. Science. This is when I lived in Texas. What's the big deal? Science. Yeah. And now, that was a long time. I haven't lived in Texas for 12 years. 2011. Yeah, 12 years. So I've come full circle on that. It's like, damn, dude, what a fool. Now, we didn't do it. It never came to fruition, thankfully. But, all right. Doug, I appreciate $10. You got something to say? You want me to question, thought, comment? Yeah, right here. Getting killed in utilities. Right there. Green agenda is a giant scam. 100%, man. 100%. So is another thing being pushed on little school children too. You know what it is? 57 flavors. Kid-friendly transgender story hour. Josh, you read that they want double income taxes to fund single payer. No. Ricky, will Republicans be able to keep Dems voter fraud to a minimum? No, because a lot of Republicans aren't in on it. They're I don't want to say they're in on that, but they're not all that worried as long as they keep their seats. Is gerrymandering another form of gerrymandering? As long as I get rich, I don't care. All right. I get out of here, my friends. I got to take these dogs out of here because Pablo is stinking it up. I think he needs a quick walkie. Yeah, it's nice and hot here today, but yep. HPV force vax. That's Rick Perry. We'll look it up, Jill. Rick Perry wanted to force HPV vax on young girls. Evil. By the way, the new booster, I think we talked about, not tested on any human beings. All right, got to go. God bless you guys. See you Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time. A couple more videos coming up today. God bless. Thanks again. See you.